What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru. Man, we don't need no breakdown. We don't need none of that breakdown stuff. We're just going to jump right into it.
So here we go.
Last night, I get done Nintendo Guru Daily, and I'm just like, man, I talked about this Mike Tyson stuff. I'm so happy. I'm on top of the world. You know, I put out a good quality.
I can't even say it. Can't even say it properly.
I put out a good quality video. I'm happy with everything. And then Nintendo goes, no. We're going to take your world and we're going to flip it over. And they announced Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Labo VR. What the just happened? So I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, I was wholeheartedly planning on getting Labo later on. Whenever they did a price drop or something like that, I was like, you know what, I'll go get these Labo kits. I already got kit 1, kit 3. I was going to get it mainly for the elephant with...
Don't crack no jokes. Don't crack no jokes. Alright?
Mainly for the drawing, because the elephant, you could draw with the trunk or whatever. Those that know me know I like to draw, and I kind of thought, like, man, it'd be kind of cool just to try this thing, to be able to draw in a 3D world, so to speak. I don't expect Labo to be like Nintendo's be-all end-all answer for VR. I don't think that it's what Nintendo thinks when they think VR. I think this is just a way for them to dabble in a little bit, see if there's any interest there, see what their teams think about being there, and then maybe slowly move the ball along and go, okay, well, let's try a little bit more. I really believe that if this works, what Labo VR offers works, I think that when we get the Switch Pro with the better, if rumors are correct, we would get a 1080p screen display. I think that's when Nintendo leans into VR a little bit stronger with the way it is, because there's no strap. It's more or less like you hold the thing to your face. It's more or less to keep you from getting sick and to allow kids to play, because it's not a long-term experience. You're only going to play for a little bit of time. Your arms will get tired, you'll get weak, you'll get weary. But for me, I was like, I need to see Breath of the Wild, one of the most gorgeous games I've played in a very long time, in this stratosphere of like, I need to see what this thing does. I need to see what it does, how it affects, how it works. So I actually went out and pre-ordered Labo VR today. I didn't even wait no longer. I just went, got it from Best Buy. So I'll get it next week when it launches. But the actual updates to Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey don't happen until, I believe, the week after that. Mario Odyssey basically is what they did was they took a couple of levels and added some things to it. Added some VR experiences to that game. Breath of the Wild, we don't know really what it is. We know that you can go in, but it seems like you can play the whole game in VR, and I don't know how you do that without it being strapped to your head. And I don't know that I want to do it regardless, just because of, again, I don't feel like the power is there. I don't feel like a 720 screen is what I want strapped to my face for long periods of time. That said, I'm very interested to see what it can do, what it can't do, but it started to drum up some thoughts for me about what happens if Nintendo does continue down this path. What if Labo VR is a bigger success than we all imagine? I've been on record as saying that I think they can move 1 million units. I think that's a very easy, feasible number for Nintendo. I think that with especially adding the Breath of the Wild and Odyssey stuff, I've seen a lot of tweets today. Of people that were on the fence that are now like, well, I guess I'm getting Labo VR now. And that to me tells me that like this is exactly what Nintendo needed to do, to just take those tech demos per se and push us a little bit further with 2 of their best franchises, their biggest franchises, and see how this thing works. Because I think what this does is it tells Nintendo, if it works with Odyssey, if it works with Breath of the Wild, what else could it work for? Could we see Animal Crossing VR? And man, for me, that's the one thing that I thought from the jump, was that would be the game that would make me want to play in VR. To be able to go in and experience my village my town in all its glory. That would be phenomenal, to just walk around, pick fruit, plant trees, do all this stuff, dig up fossils in VR. It would be so cool to do. Now, I've been on record to saying that I'm not a huge proponent, I'm not a huge fan of VR, and I'm still not. Just because Nintendo is diving into this does not mean that I believe in VR suddenly. I still believe that VR that I want to play and I want to experience is still down the line, maybe 10, 15 years from now. I don't think that the experiences that we are getting right now in VR are what I want from VR. It's nothing that gets me excited. Now, I could be proven wrong, and that's kind of a good thing, to be proven wrong. I like that when Nintendo does something that where I think like, that's stupid, and then all of a sudden they go, no, you're going to fall in love, and you do fall in love. I think that what Nintendo is doing here is opening the gateway to a lot of things. And the crazy thing is, I saw some people today, even friends of mine, who were on the rampage, on the attack, that this is no good, this is bad, this is trash, and all this stuff. And I feel like, man, just let people enjoy their things. You don't have to hate this thing because it's not the VR that you want. I feel like, let this thing play out, let it happen as it happens, and whatever happens, happens. If it flops, it flops. If it sells, it sells. But at the end of the day, if people want to experience this, want to enjoy it, don't sit there and throw rocks at them, hoping that you'll demise their enjoyment of it. Nothing that you say is going to change their minds. They're going to try it, and if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But at the end of the day, it's their money to spend. It's my money to spend. And for you to get upset that I'm spending it on something like this really is kind of silly and doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it at all. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that I look at it and I go, what else could we see from Nintendo here? Could we see a Mario Kart VR implementation? I mean, when you think about it, they tinkered with Mario Kart VR in Japan. There's rumors of Universal Studios having a Mario Kart-esque track with a HoloLens augmented reality type thing. Could we see Mario Kart 8 implement this Labo thing? We've already seen Mario Kart implement Labo stuff as it is. Could this go a step further? Could we be driving the kart with this thing strapped to our heads and using the pedals? Like, man, that would be pretty nuts when you think about it. And like, if I'm driving the kart and I look to the left, do I see Luigi coming up with the old death stare on the side of me? Be pretty awesome. Be pretty awesome. The other things I thought, like, could we see like a Luigi's Mansion 3 Labo VR update? Could we see where you're actually going around maybe with that trunk, you know, and that's the vacuum cleaner and you're sucking up ghosts and such? There's so much I think that this lends itself to, that I think that if it is successful and we see Nintendo push deeper down this, we could see future stuff definitely happen for Labo. And I think this is kind of different. I think this is kind of a good thing, honestly. It's a way for Nintendo to step in and not drop a lot of money. At the end of the day, I think that if this works out and we get the Switch Pro with the 1080 screen, to me, that's when Nintendo starts to lean in more heavily with these experiences to give long-term experiences where they offer a strap and they mount it, and maybe they come out with something different with a plastic head unit or such. We did see that Nintendo got some patent things done a while ago, even though they were denying the whole time. There was patent claims that they were trying to make something that was a head unit of some sort where the screen slides into, and this was going back in 2017, so it's kind of interesting to see where we go. The only other things that I would like to see potentially happen, or I wonder would happen, would we get Virtual Boy games to come in color? Don't need that redness, but like Wario was a great game for the Virtual Boy. Could we see that come? Could we see tennis? Could we see some of those games that were on the Virtual Boy ported over to this thing to be? And additionally, what about 3DS games? Could we see Link Between Worlds, Mario 3D Land, New Leaf, Pilot Wings? Could we see these types of games? Another one would be Kid Icarus. Like, Kid Icarus Uprising would be a great game for VR. I think that we could see these games potentially start to happen if Labo VR does well. And I think this is the test for Nintendo for two things. It's the litmus test for two things. The litmus test for will Labo continue and will VR continue for Nintendo. And I think this is basically where Nintendo says, let's see what this thing can do. And I think last night was them dropping the gauntlet to go, we're going to try to ensure that this game, this concept works further. And how do we do that? We take the two 2017 contenders for Game of the Year and drop them into this thing and hope the hype levels skyrocket, which they did, because if you watched the internet yesterday, it blew up the minute Nintendo announced this. I think it's a good thing. I'm excited for it. I want to know what you think. Are you excited for this, or do you think this is just a last-ditch effort that's not going to work? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's episode of Nintendo Guru Daily. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter, @Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.